What happens when a man who has already redefined martial arts decides that the world must witness his genius? By 1971, Bruce Lee had already revolutionized martial arts through his Jeet Kune Do philosophy. Yet the world of cinema presented a new challenge. Could a martial artist not only entertain but educate, inspire, and redefine action for audiences across continents? Every strike, every kick, every movement had to carry meaning beyond spectacle. It had to tell a story, convey philosophy, and captivate audiences who had never seen such speed, precision, and intelligence combined in one human being. Bruce Lee wasn't merely performing, he was shaping history. Returning to Hong Kong, crafting the big bosses. In early 1971, Bruce Lee returned to Hong Kong with a vision. Martial arts cinema existed, but most films were exaggerated displays of acrobatics with little realism. Bruce Lee demanded authenticity. The Big Boss became his first major cinematic laboratory. Each scene was meticulously designed, from factory fight sequences to the climactic warehouse brawl. Every motion embodied the philosophy of Jeet Kune Do. Absorb what is useful, reject what is useless, add what is uniquely your own. He trained actors and stuntmen for weeks before filming, focusing on timing, distance, and precision. Audience engagement was paramount. Viewers weren't just meant to see action, they were to feel the impact, understand the tension, and internalize the philosophy. Bruce Lee wanted the camera to capture the exact rhythm, speed, and intention of each movement. Each punch was an expression of discipline, each kick a demonstration of mental and physical harmony. Revolutionizing fight choreography. Bruce Lee approached fight choreography as a synthesis of art and combat science. He integrated psychological tension into every sequence. The slight hesitation before an opponent strikes, the anticipation of the counter, the subtle shifts in balance. Unlike conventional cinema, where movements are exaggerated, Bruce Lee emphasized efficiency and effectiveness. Camera placement highlighted speed, reaction, and the psychology of combat. His strikes were lethal yet fluid, calculated yet spontaneous. Critics would later remark that his fights were so real that audiences felt the punches, rather than merely watching them. Becoming a global icon, the Big Boss quickly became a cultural phenomenon. Bruce Lee's fame spread beyond Hong Kong to Japan, Southeast Asia, and eventually Europe. Viewers were fascinated not only by his physical prowess, but by the philosophy underlying each strike. Martial arts transcended entertainment. It became a global cultural force. Schools worldwide began incorporating his techniques. Bruce Lee demonstrated that mastery encompassed mind, body, and spirit. He was no longer just an actor. He was a global teacher, innovator, and icon. Philosophy in motion. Every cinematic fight in Bruce Lee's films was a physical expression of his philosophy. Combat wasn't about memorized routines, it was about instinct, adaptability, and precision. Fixed patterns and rigid forms were discarded. Fluidity, efficiency, and responsiveness became the core. In every fight scene, Bruce Lee illustrated these principles, transforming cinema into a martial arts classroom. Viewers absorbed lessons in strategy, timing, and awareness without ever realizing they were learning. His philosophy became inseparable from his cinematic storytelling. Fist of Fury, elevating the hero archetype. Following The Big Boss, Bruce Lee immediately commenced Fist of Fury in 1972. Here, his cinematic vision matured. Fight sequences weren't mere spectacles, they told stories of courage, morality, and resilience. Bruce Lee's choreography highlighted reaction speed, precision, and fluidity, emphasizing Jeet Kune Do principles. Each strike represented moral integrity and philosophical depth. Audiences were not merely entertained, they were inspired. Bruce Lee's hero was intelligent, disciplined, and morally uncompromising, a global symbol of empowerment, directorial vision, and control. Bruce Lee demanded full creative control. He choreographed fights, trained actors, and supervised cinematography. Camera angles, lighting, pacing, and editing were tools to enhance tension and realism. His insistence on authenticity revolutionized martial arts cinema. Every frame, every movement, every strike conveyed philosophy, intention, and impact. Bruce Lee merged intellectual depth with physical mastery, creating a cinematic language that communicated the essence of Jeet Kune Do to global audiences. Global cultural impact. By 1973, Bruce Lee's influence was global. Martial arts schools worldwide incorporated his philosophy. Filmmakers and choreographers studied his methods. Bruce Lee redefined the archetype of the martial arts hero: disciplined, intelligent, philosophical, and unstoppable. His films were now cultural landmarks. Martial arts became a universal language, and Bruce Lee its most visible ambassador. Training beyond human limits. Despite fame, Bruce Lee maintained relentless training. Thousands of punches, explosive drills, reflex exercises, and custom equipment honed his body into a living weapon. On screen, his strikes reflected this rigorous discipline, lightning fast, precise, and philosophically grounded. Bruce Lee embodied human potential, showing that martial arts mastery required mind, body, and spirit in perfect harmony. Hollywood on the horizon. After conquering Asia with The Big Boss and Fist of Fury, Bruce Lee's sights turned to Hollywood. The West had seen martial arts only in fleeting forms, usually as exotic, stylized spectacle, rarely as a practical, philosophical art. Bruce Lee knew that introducing authentic martial arts to Western audiences required more than speed and strength. It demanded charisma, intelligence, and cultural bridge building. He meticulously planned every step, studying camera techniques, collaborating with directors, and designing fight sequences that retained Jeet Kune Do's philosophy while maximizing cinematic appeal. Bruce Lee visualized each scene not just as action, but as a teaching moment. His movements, pauses, and even facial expressions communicated discipline, intent, and tactical awareness. In his mind, cinema could be both entertainment and enlightenment. Every punch would tell a story, every kick a lesson. For Bruce Lee, Hollywood was not merely a platform for fame. It was a stage to demonstrate the art of martial mastery to the world. Seminars and Western audiences. While preparing for Hollywood, Bruce Lee conducted seminars across Los Angeles and major U.S. cities. Students, journalists, and enthusiasts marveled at his speed, control, and philosophical depth. He taught that martial arts was more than physical skill, it was mental clarity, situational awareness, and adaptability. Jeet Kune Do principles were demonstrated in real time. Footwork drills, reflex training, counterattack simulations. Western audiences were captivated. They witnessed not only punches and kicks, but a philosophy that emphasized freedom, efficiency, and personal expression. Bruce Lee's teachings became viral in an era long before social media. Word of mouth, newspaper articles, and television features spread his influence. People began to study his techniques, philosophy, and mindset, recognizing a new paradigm in martial arts, one that combined intellect, intuition, and relentless discipline. Innovating for cinema, Bruce Lee realized that Hollywood required a cinematic translation of martial arts. He experimented with camera angles, slow-motion sequences, and framing that showcased speed and precision. Each fight sequence was designed to highlight psychological tension and physical mastery. He worked with stunt performers, ensuring that every fall, strike, and movement conveyed realism while retaining dramatic flair. He wrote detailed notes for directors and cinematographers. Capture the intention, not just the motion. Bruce Lee believed the audience should understand the strategy behind the strike, the thought process behind each movement. Every cinematic decision reinforced Jeet Kune Do principles: minimal wasted motion, direct efficiency, adaptive response, and philosophical depth. Enter the Dragon. Preparation begins. By mid-1973, Bruce Lee had laid the foundation for what would become Enter the Dragon. His preparation was holistic, physical, mental, philosophical, and cinematic. Training intensified, more explosive drills, refined reflex exercises, and advanced footwork. He studied different martial arts disciplines, integrating their best aspects while discarding inefficiencies. In tandem, he developed the narrative and choreography for the film. Each fight sequence was carefully mapped: protagonists' moral clarity, antagonists' psychological tactics, and cinematic tension synchronized with philosophical storytelling. Bruce Lee's goal was clear: martial arts in film should educate, entertain, and inspire. It should feel authentic, thrilling, and deeply intellectual. Teaching through film, Bruce Lee's seminars and cinematic work were intertwined. Techniques demonstrated in seminars informed fight choreography. Film sequences became illustrative lessons of Jeet Kune Do principles. Students learned timing, distance, and adaptability by watching his on-screen moves. For Bruce Lee, cinema was a pedagogical tool as much as an entertainment medium. He pushed the boundaries of both martial arts and film, ensuring his legacy would extend beyond mere spectacle. Cultural bridge, East meets West. Bruce Lee's growing influence wasn't limited to martial arts enthusiasts. Hollywood producers, choreographers, and actors began to see the genius behind his methodology. He was breaking stereotypes, an Asian actor as a lead hero, combining intellect, philosophy, and physical mastery. Cultural barriers were challenged. Audiences worldwide, from Europe to North America, began to appreciate martial arts as a blend of physicality and philosophy. Bruce Lee had become not just a star, but a bridge between cultures, philosophies, and cinematic traditions. Personal philosophy and mindset. Amidst fame and global attention, Bruce Lee remained disciplined. He wrote extensively, training logs, philosophical notes, and reflections on martial arts, cinema, and life. His mindset was simple but profound. Mastery required total commitment, flexibility, and courage. Each on-screen fight reflected this philosophy. Intelligence in motion, spontaneity in response, and precision in execution. Bruce Lee taught through example. The mind and body must be in harmony. Every action deliberate, every movement purposeful. Audience and media reaction. As Bruce Lee's Hollywood reputation grew, media attention followed. Interviews, demonstrations, and features in major newspapers elevated his profile. Fans were not just impressed by physical ability, they were captivated by philosophy, charisma, and mastery. Martial arts became a global conversation, and Bruce Lee its central figure. His every movement, whether in a dojo, seminar, or film, influenced cultural perception and inspired a generation to pursue discipline, fitness, and philosophical understanding. Cinematic innovation. Bruce Lee pushed cinematic boundaries. Slow motion to highlight reflexes, strategic camera angles to illustrate timing, and choreography emphasizing both realism and drama. Each frame became a lesson in martial arts theory and application. Co-actors, stunt performers, and directors absorbed his methods, ensuring that the essence of Jeet Kune Do translated seamlessly to film. Bruce Lee wasn't merely acting, he was creating a new language for action cinema, combining philosophy, physical mastery, and narrative tension. Legacy in motion. By the end of 1973, Bruce Lee's preparations had positioned him as a global icon. Martial arts films were forever changed. Audiences worldwide expected authenticity, philosophy, and excitement. Bruce Lee's methodology influenced countless actors, choreographers, and filmmakers. Martial arts was no longer just a niche entertainment, it was a cultural movement, a philosophical statement, and a visual spectacle. Closing, a legend in the making. The period from 1970 to 1973 cemented Bruce Lee's status as a global star. His integration of philosophy, training, cinematic innovation, and cultural bridge building laid the foundation for Enter the Dragon. Bruce Lee was not just performing martial arts, he was teaching, inspiring, and revolutionizing cinema. His legacy was growing, and the world was watching a master at work, redefining not only action cinema, but also human potential and cultural understanding.